In the close past, you all know what happened. Big bad COVID hit and shut nearly the entire world down for a year. COVID had a profound impact on many businesses. One such business was cinema. During the quarantine, nobody was able to go to the theater, one of the main ways the movies make revenue. This impact was compounded by the growth of social media in our lives during the quarantine. Platforms like TikTok and Instagram, all shortening our attention spans down to small snippets of content that can be swiped through instantly if it doesn't interest us. This large-scale shortening of attention spans and a massive loss of revenue left film out to rot. The younger generation pushing away films that aren't just constant action. But I'm here to tell you why film is still here and why each and every one of you should appreciate it just as much as I do. But to begin, I ask you this. Has a film ever truly affected one of you, hit you real hard? If so, why do you think it has such a profound impact? To answer that, film as an art form is a representation of life, a portrayal of humanity. It imitates it. That's what grounds a film in terms of its story, when characters can be related to and or understood, when they can express their role in the film via aspects just down to appearance or voice tone. In doing so, film encompasses all aspects of the human emotional spectrum. And in doing so, it's what makes us feel so much for a movie. Furthermore, in how film goes down to that deep personal level, renowned filmmaker Quentin Tarantino once said, to make it so personal that you are embarrassed to share it. Putting it out there, how in cinema, your ability to connect to something is what gives that film its value. You feel so much for the movie that you become insecure about it. Personal story of mine, my favorite movie of all time, out of all the films that I've seen, is called Marriage Story, directed by Noah Baumbach. And when put simply, it's a film about divorce. Now you all may be wondering, how can this kid relate to divorce? He's never been married, has he? Well, I can assure you I've never been married, thank God, but I can assure you that I am a child of divorced parents. And in being so, I could relate to the child within the movie. During the 2 hours that movie played before me, I could admit that I was crying for almost the whole film because I relived the split between my parents. Through the argument scenes, the scenes showing the child favoring one parent over the other, putting forth so much emotional pain despite his innocence, I truly felt myself within that boy, remembering the way I acted at that age, how I saw my parents' divorce, and how I treated them in response to it. This is what made it so beautiful to me, because the feelings it gave me were and still are unparalleled, because I was able to connect to it on such a deep and emotional level. But moving on, away from more emotional damage, beauty has more than just one interpretation. Beauty comes in many more ways than one. Movies like Nope are beautiful sheerly out of creativity or visuals, despite it being a comedic horror. Another example is the Avatar series, directed by James Cameron, where the emotional value is there, just not on the same level as something like Call Me By Your Name or Marriage Story. But the revolutionary CGI creates a scene that is so new and astonishing that the film is undeniably incredible. This creativity is what, Jesus. It's astounding, because in the creation of a movie, you just need to when you look in the film more deeply, you find that it's made by so much more than just pointing a camera in some direction and making people do something in it. When you actually pay attention, when it comes just to the camera, it's about the lens in use, the framing, the lighting, the height of the camera, whether it's on a robotic arm or handheld. It's just every small thing is chosen by the director. Every small thing is intentional and likely has an implied meaning. Funny quote said by writer and director Jordan Peele is that the difference between comedy and horror is the music, because in its creation, film is the apex of creativity. Every small thing is chosen and intentional. When you're writing a book, it's about the vocabulary, the dialogue, and the grounding. When we're making a song, it's about the bass line, the sound compatibility, and the lyrics. Make a movie, it's about the lens, the framing, the lighting, the acting, whether by script or improv, the beats, the score, whether the input score or not, the type of score. There is so much that goes into it. But overall, the value of a film comes from what the director is trying to say to you as the viewer. They're trying to tell you a story, put forth a message, whether through the plot or symbolically. They're trying to create something that you can understand and feel for, feel represented by. Renowned filmmaker Bong Joon-ho, director of the film Parasite, once said that the quality of your writing will be directly related to your understanding of human behavior. Putting it out there, how in cinema, the audience's ability to understand a character is crucial in making the film feel alive. And the presentation of that natural human behavior is key into making it feel more real. Furthermore, when movies are made by, film other than just characters is made or given life by more than just those characters. The director matters. Their direction style adds just as much life to that movie as any character could add. When movies are written and directed by different people, it's often the director who takes charge, taking the idea of the screenplay and making it in their own image. You have lofty directors out there like Terrence Malick, who often go on filmmaking tangents that end up becoming the actual movie. Then you have much more particular directors out there like Stanley Kubrick, who want every single detail to be put in place as he wants it by the screenplay, going so far as to abusively make his actors do over 100 takes until it is to his satisfaction. But here comes that curiosity. Why does this matter? Why would you care about the direction style? It's just a movie, right? Well, think of it this way. Kubrick's revolutionary direction style created shots like the one-point perspective. And in the creation of 2001: A Space Odyssey, revolutionized the presentation of spaceships or really any other aircraft in film, older films specifically, making everything that you see in the older Star Wars films, Star Trek, and many other sci-fi films out there today. Furthermore, you have other directors like Quentin Tarantino, who in the making of his movies likes to introduce his characters by throwing up big words on screen like some sort of comic book, and characterizing them by using some of the best written dark humor in history, almost as good as Jimmy's Real Gourmet. Well, not allowed to say that here, but you know what I mean. But his direction style was the inspiration for many other films out there like Snatch, Amores Perros, Boondock Saints, or The Harder They Fall. But what I'm really trying to get at is that direction style is what gives a film its life. They create the mood and feel of the movie. When watching a Tarantino movie, you know it's Tarantino because of its loud expression and dark humor. Watching a Jordan Peele film, you know it's Peele because of its ultra-creative comic horror feel. Then you have directors out there like Steven Spielberg, who are all over the place. We go from Tintin to Saving Private Ryan to Jaws. I mean, come on! But, I can't say anything because he makes a lot more money than I do. In essence, it's what you can do with just a camera and some editing software that is truly astounding. You don't even need a musical score. Sometimes scenes are made by the fact that there's no score. Just look at the new The Last of Us series on HBO. In the 3rd episode, the final montage between Frank and Bill, it plays a somber tone, meant to evoke deep and melancholy feelings. But then when dinner rolls around, the score stops to create the intimate scene between the two and finalize their time together. This is what makes film truly incredible and an artistic beauty we are blessed to have in our everyday lives. I hope what I have said has opened your eyes to the boundless possibilities provided by film and the many, many opportunities that people like me aspire to create by. Thank you.